Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios inside the bunker. Undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. And cross half continent to Chicago, Illinois in his, I don't know. Are you in your bunker?
Yes.
Okay. All
I
right.
am in my bunker.
In his Chicago bunker, where he watches the Bears, the Blackhawks, the Devils, the White Sox, and the Bulls. Yeah, as we're streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, Twitch, on the Let's Go Devils Network, and Instagram Live. Forgot that one there. This Game Day Live, Game 44. We thought 43 would have some luster and magic to it, but Vinnie, I'm going to tell you, this game is this game everybody's watching, because are they going to continue the slide? Did we actually hit rock bottom? I thought we hit rock bottom with the booing of Luke Hughes, but the Devils managed to find a new rock bottom. What are your thoughts?
First of all, Sam, you are buzzing right now.
Really?
My goodness.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You sound good. You're excited. You're ready to rock. Oh, my gosh.
You know why?
This is... it's not Devils related.
Yeah. You know why? Because Mrs. Wu is cooking me a gourmet meal today, and it's supposed to be healthy, but it happens to smell really good right now, and I can smell it in the bunker. I can smell it.
Oh, I love that. When you're in the bunker, like maybe you're a little far from where food is made normally. Some people, I'm pretty far from where the food, I'm probably one of the farthest rooms from the house, from the kitchen. But sometimes it lingers. And when you know when it's lingering all the way up here, you know that things are getting pretty good. So, yeah, I get your excitement. You're probably not going to watch a treat of a game, unfortunately. I mean, this is as bad. I think the last game they played, I never gave in to just putting the game on my computer in favor of, like, watching something else on the main TV quicker than I did last Tuesday against the New York Islanders. I mean, I was just dumbfounded at how quickly they had no chance to win. And I never really feel this way about the Devils. Like, for a long time, I've felt nothing but optimism and psyched about the future, even the hard times, because you were able to see something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were able to see what this losing would lead to. And then they had that year in 2021-22, or 22-23, excuse me, and they were one of the three best teams in the NHL. They really were.
Yeah.
And they beat the New York Rangers in the first round. I'm like, this team could win multiple cups. They could be the team of the 2020s. And since then, it just, I'm not excited. I'm really not. Like, I love the team. I will never stop loving the team. I plan on watching every single game for the rest of my life. Even the days where I like have family stuff or like stuff happens, I'll go back and watch the highlights or whatever. I will be locked in on the New Jersey Devils for the rest of my life. I have no doubt about that. But I'm not excited about them right now. I'm just not. There's nothing that, I can't wait to watch them play the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Because right now, it would be honestly a little stunning if Sidney Crosby and company didn't just poo-poo all over them. You know, Sid's having a great year. He's got all this momentum. Team Canada in less than a month now. Like, it just wouldn't shock me at all if it's 1-0 them on Twitter again because of something Sid does a minute into the game. That's where I'm at with this team right now. It is by far, the most pessimistic I've been about the Devils since Ilya Kovalchuk retired in 2013.
I will bring some, not optimism, but a little hope here.
Sure.
If Jake the Snake Allen is starting, that's a starting point. because Jacob Markstrom, I'm not going to demean him. I'm not going to, say things that people want me to say. I'll just say this. When you're down 1-0 and 2-0, whether it's your fault or not, like he did the other night, and he's done it so many times this season to start the game, it is very tough to come back from. Whereas Jake Allen, he's sharp early, and he's making those tremendous saves. That gives me hope that they can withstand that first 5 to 10 minutes of the game and not being down. I mean, I wasn't even in the building when it was yesterday. The last game.
They were down multi goals by the time you even got to your seat.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. So, with that said, Vinny, I'm going to take it one shift at a time. As a fan, I'm taking it one shift at a time. Because we do this podcast, unfortunately, I can't turn off the TV. Or I can't just ignore the game. We've got a job to do. We've got a job to do. I understand if you're a fan, and I sympathize that if you have to turn off the TV, because there's always this thing. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's my rule of thumb, and I'd rather stick to that rule. I don't blame fans for turning it off. I'm not going to question your fandom, your commitment to the team. If it's that bad, turn it off. Because what we don't need is even more negativity piled on to this fan base. Because the whole league is watching right now. Everybody likes to look at a dumpster fire. Everybody loves to look at a train wreck. And right now, other than rumors we're hearing about a certain team above the border right now, which I don't want to get into, it's really not funny.
It's not funny, but it could turn out to be something good for the Devils.
Well, I hope Fitzy has the balls to pounce on it if it is true.
He is their cousin by marriage, I think.
Yes.
He's related to them somehow.
Yeah.
Of course, we're referring to the Kachuk brothers, but he might be fired before that ever even becomes a thing.
Maybe that's only holding his job right now. You don't know.
Could be.
You simply don't know. But, if he's working on something up with Ottawa right now, I'm going to tell you, keep him till he gets the job done, and I'll give him another 4-month reprieve after that, to finish out the season, essentially. But yeah, so people are already putting in their predictions right now. But I think what's the worst part of it, that really, the pain of the last game against the Islanders was a 7, 8, 9 goals in the third period, where you're like, oh, okay, that's the last one. Oh no, it's kind of like you hear those murder mysteries. It's like, did you really need to stab the person 52 times? You already got it done in 3 times. Like, that was just. And I'm not blaming the Islanders at all. If you're gonna allow this, I'm gonna pad my stats and get bonuses. Oh yeah,
stuff. It's a game with a clock, so the clock's you got to play the clock regardless.
Yep.
So you might as well. It's not like football where you could kind of run up the score in football, and it be taken the wrong way because of the fact that you can kind of control the clock a little bit. The ball doesn't always have to be in play the entire time the clock is running. You could kind of run up the score in baseball a little bit too. You're up by 10 runs and you could be selective with your pitches. That's kind of disrespectful sometimes to the other team. And I don't agree with it, but I know it's taken that way. Tatis Jr. hitting a grand slam on a 3-0 count when the team's already up by 6. I know that got him beamed in one of his next that can't really happen in hockey because the 60 minutes have to play out regardless. So, I have no blame for the Islanders. Why wouldn't Anthony Duclair want to have a hat trick? And, this is a guy who's flipped around teams a little bit in his career. He's been an above average journeyman, I guess you could call him. And, he's going to want to pad his stats. And by the end of the year, if he's ever looking for another contract at some point, I don't know the exact details of his current deal, but, those extra goals, they all matter. So good for them. I also think it's just better for the future of the Devils for them to have gotten shellacked like that. Because if they would have like lost by one, 6-5, and all the problems were still the same, the score was just a little different, that might be less inclining for the organization to make change. And I'm not the fire this guy, fire that guy, ever. I don't know if you probably understand that about me by now.
Oh yeah, I understand that about you. I'm completely the opposite. I'm fire everybody.
But I'm there now.
Yeah.
I don't like being there because it makes me feel like I'm watching for nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm there for sure.
Well,
Coach and GM.
Yeah, I'm fire everybody, and I'll fire myself being a fan. That's how bad it's gotten. That's what I mean by fire everybody, even myself.
Sam,
for
you are fired.
Yeah, tolerating it. So Stanley says, Sam, gotta let it burn. I say, bring on negativity. Nothing has elicited a response from ownership. Maybe ultra negative press finally breaks them out of their coma. Well, it's funny you say that, because I've been having negative thoughts in my head, which I like to share on this podcast, because nobody knows except for me. I'm not sure if I even told Mrs. Wu yet the negative thoughts in my head, okay? I've been thinking about that as well, because in my head, I found an article about the $300 million New Jersey subsidies that would go to renovate the arena. And it's like, you don't even clean the arena properly to begin with, and now you want subsidies to renovate the arena? $300 million, is that going to fix the new TV? Where is that going? And then I thought to myself, what would a super fan do in this situation to really get their attention? Because obviously nothing phases this ownership group. How about for season tickets downstairs? There's a lot of season tickets downstairs. For 2 seats, could cost you $10,000 a season. And a lot of fans are seriously thinking of not renewing. But if one fan decides to spend $5,000, not renew, and spend $5,000 and get a plane with an advertisement over Trenton about this whole subsidy thing, and try to knock it down where the ownership group doesn't get $300 million because they're not satisfying us or something, as stupid as it sounds, it will get their attention, because they don't want that kind of negative publicity. They don't care about the team losing, really, because they've shown us they don't respond. They don't feel the obligation to respond publicly unless it's really, really bad. So I've been having all these negative thoughts in my head. How do you get the ownership attention? And again, I want to preface by saying this. You do it the right way. You don't do anything illegal. You got to do it in a clever way where the goal is not to hurt them physically or anything like that. It's to get their attention where the masses are watching. And now there's so many people watching. Now you're involving other people that don't even involve the Devils watching, where it forces a response. Okay, we're not doing well. I'm still waiting for at least, bare minimum, a crummy PR statement. A public relations statement. We're not even getting that. That's how bad,
Just, it hasn't been that way where those types of things happen, and they are getting laughed at. I mean, this story of them losing 9-0 to the Islanders was everywhere.
Yeah.
They talked about Bucci Gross and Frank Saravalli talked about it on Frankly Hockey. It was a segment on TNT with Wayne Gretzky, Anson Carter, and Henrik Lundqvist. It's all over every story. One of the top stories in hockey is that the New Jersey Devils allowed the New York Islanders to shellac them 9-0 on Long Island.
Yeah.
In a year where the Devils are supposed to be cup contenders and they have all these stars and they can't score. Oh, and they outchanced the Islanders by a lot, and they almost outdoubled them 2-1 in shots. And the deserve to win a meter, meaning the Atlanta analytics community, says that the Devils were supposed to win that game, actually. And Markstrom's part of the team too. And you still scored 0 goals. So, I'm not an anti-analytics guy, but I'm also not a totally use them only guy either. So many people are like completely one side or the other. The fact of the matter remains, okay, they'll probably win more games that they lose if they outshoot their opponent 43-20. Okay, I understand that that's probably true. But they lost this one 9-0. And that's the end of the story.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine, because I'm a big dope and I do stupid things. Can you imagine if I went on like one of these sports gambling websites, the day of the game, and like, yeah, how I always say 9-0 on Game Day Live predictions, but I put 9-0 Islanders as a joke for $25, how much money I would have won on that, which is kind of funny. But I want to also, Mike Rosenswag, back to the arena thing, says, Sam, what Sam needs this morning for, no. He wrote something, where is it? Oh, it just went up. Where is it? Oh, shoot, I lost it, Vinny. Oh, what's, from what he read from this morning from ownership, the wording illustrated the taxpayers should pay for the upgrades to enhance the Rock's market competitive. That's BS. I'll even add to that BS. That the way things work in New Jersey, they're going to get their money no matter what. So it really doesn't matter. We're talking about drawing attention to it. Personally, I don't. I care, but I don't. But I just want to draw attention to the ownership group to respond to something else. But this ownership group will get that $300 million and do the renovations with taxpayer money and then overcharge even more in the concessions, the tickets, and all that. And they're going to say, oh, but because we upgraded. Yeah, but with whose money? See, that's where it gets me, where the optics everywhere, Vinny, in New Jersey right now, I don't think you don't see it day to day. It just looks so bad and it's so negative. And even if the team wins tonight, winning solves everything. I truly believe that. But it's going to take that low it's probably a 5% chance they can turn this thing around to the point where you turn around all this negative public opinion. It's going to take a lot because we've seen this rodeo before. It's going to take a 15-game heat.
Yeah, they would really have to get hot. And it's happened. It happens across the league all the time. Like, I'm not trying to compare them just to the Wild for obvious reasons, but like early in the season, they were terrible. And then they went on this run. And then they traded for Quinn. Like, the ups and downs of an NHL season wouldn't shock me for anyone. I think every team in the Western Conference has spent a day or two in last place too, except for like, the true cup contenders. I think the bottom 10-ish teams in the Western Conference have all spent at least one night in last place or close to it. It's an up and down league. The Devils could have a good offseason get rid of Hamilton, get rid of Palat, come back next year with something and completely change the narrative around them again. I mean, it's not a sunken ship. A lot of their top guys are still really young, but right now it's nothing short of a natural disaster. A lot of people do want us to come on here and just be totally negative all the time. We're going to do it after a 9-0 loss, no doubt, especially one that follows the game that was played right before against Carolina with the Luke Hughes stuff. But, I mean, it does get exhausting and, tough when you have to come on every single time and be negative. That does get a little old quickly.
Yeah, and I saw something about Michael Hay saying Mickey Mouse, Gretzky looked like Donald Duck hunting. Let me tell you something. This podcast, before season 1, episode 1, in the pilot series, which we don't have footage anymore because Facebook deleted it when they were cleaning a lot of their housekeeping files, I guess, like, because it was, when the Devils were that bad, they weren't really podcasts, they were really just Facebook Live rants. This is how this podcast started before it became a podcast, that I would literally dress like Mickey Mouse and get behind a mic and just go on a rant. And I don't know if we're at that point yet, Vinny, where I have to dig out that Mickey Mouse costume But if this continues and it's really bad, everyone's talking about brown paper bags. But the problem is, I think what's keeping Fitzgerald's job alive right now is they're only 3 points out of a wild card spot, which I don't like that mediocre mindset. I like winning where, no, we should be top of the division. And maybe that's what's keeping his job right now for the moment.
That wouldn't shock me. I mean, they still, I laughed really hard. Like, there's all this goodwill around the Blackhawks right now. They've won 4 in a row. They're 5-1-1 since the holiday break. And they're still 3 points behind the Devils in the overall league standings. Like, there is something to, like, how good they were in the beginning of the year. Was it an anomaly, or can they get back to that? I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. No, I don't think they're going to be a 100-point team. Could they come back and be like a low 90s team and make the playoffs? Yeah, I do think that's possible. But they're running out of time to develop into a team that'll give anyone any kind of confidence, because we are over the halfway point in the season. They're the only team right now that seems to be struggling scoring as much as they are. This thing could flip in a heartbeat, like you said. But, I mean, right now it's hard to look at the standings and see any of the teams ahead of them and think that they're definitively better than them. Like, they would have to go on a run. So, and if they can't score, it doesn't matter how many goals Markstrom gives up.
Yeah.
I do find it really funny. They would be in a playoff spot in the West.
Yeah. Well, get your predictions in. It's that time of the podcast in the YouTube Live. I know some gave it before, but it's now. We've got so many people on right now. Also, Instagram Live as well. I see some people joining in, and X and Facebook Live. Get your predictions in right now. Something we didn't cover, Shimon Nemitz activated off of injured reserve. What are your thoughts? Is he coming back too early?
Activated off of injured reserve and named to Team Slovakia's Olympic squad all on the same day, which we knew that was going to happen for him. But we won't know if he came back too early till after we evaluate some of his play. I can't feel what he feels with his injury. Only he can, and only his doctors know the truth. Cleared to play. Now you play, though. If you're in the lineup, you're in the lineup. I expect your normal self when you're in the lineup. If you're not good enough to be your normal self, I'm not sure you should be in the lineup. So we'll see what happens with that. Is this his first game back? Yeah, I believe this is his first game back since it came out that he was one phone call away from being shipped out to the Vancouver Canucks for Quinn Hughes. So we'll see how he responds to that as well. But I don't think he's dumb. Like the way Zeev Buium handled it. Like, I was traded for Quinn Hughes. Like, you can't have really any hard feelings about that if you're Nemitz.
Yeah. For those joining us on YouTube Live, also subscribe to our podcasts at Let's Go Devils. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, at Let's Go Devils Podcast. Give us a follow, like, subscribe. And on X at Let's Go Devils Pod. Vinny, give me your prediction for tonight.
I think, I'm not to the point where I'm just going to start picking against the Devils every game yet. We'll get there if we get there. So I'm going to go 3-2 Devils.
Okay. We joke around with predictions, so I need to think about it a little bit more. Do you mind? Do you have the YouTube Live up? Want to read some of these predictions
rather quickly?
Yeah, read these predictions. There's a lot here. I can't look at my monitor right now. I can't actually read the screen. So,
but I can't read.
I can't read. Yeah, I drove Art Heaton's family, and I can't even see. That's not good.
Robert says 3-1 Penguins. Seagotts says 3-0 Penguins. Survey 4-3 Devils. Jacob Schmo says 8-0 Penguins. Steven says 2-1 Devils in overtime. Let's see. Brian Lee says 6-3, flightless birds. You're just a flightless bird. Eric says Devils 9, pennies 2.
Never heard
says
that one.
4-3. Selecta says 4-3 Devils. They will play like it is the question. I don't know what that means. Michael Hay, Devils win 4-2. Empty net goal by Allen, showing he could score goals. If Allen scores a goal tonight, I won't watch the next 3 games. That's not that. That doesn't affect anybody's life necessarily. It just makes mine worse. Jim says 2-1 Devils. Joey says 5-3 Penguins. I hate to type that, but just can't see a 9-0 loss and a win in 2 days. Lisa 4-3 Devils. Jacob says sit the whole team and let the fans play. Stanley says 6-1 Penguins. Pour it on. Joey says trade the entire 2029 draft for McDavid. See what Edmonton says. He has 2 more years left on his contracts. We don't know anything about the 2029 NHL draft yet. That's probably the first draft that we really don't know anything about. Like we probably don't know much about 28 either. Because I know 26 is McKenna, Verhoff, Stenberg, Lawrence. Next year's that Landon DuPont kid.
Yeah.
Really sick. But beyond that, don't know as much. But we'll see. AJ Visco, 5-1 Devils. 4-1 Devils, says Lupus. Joey says, the different Joey says 14-12 Devils. Signed Sam Wu. Number 1 Blitz says 9-0 Devils. Some of these are getting kind of creative and funny.
Yeah.
If the Devils turned around and beat Pittsburgh 9-0, that'd be awesome. Mike Rossi says 5-1 Pens. This disaster of a team leaves Allen out dry. Then Fitzy gets fired 20 minutes after the game. I mean, I think if they got shut out again and gave up more than 6, I think that would have to be like the end of the road. I would think. You would think. But yeah, that's all the scores we got in the YouTube. Sam, what do you think?
I honestly think it's going to be 6-3 Penguins. I think the Devils will have the early lead, but then they're going to collapse. That's how I feel. So there's not a crazy score coming from me. That's just how I feel.
So what are you thinking, like a 3-2 lead and then it goes off the rails in the third?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
That would suck.
Yeah. Dag for Hansen said 5-3 New Jersey, Nemec, and the worst Hughes with goals. I think Nathan with the power play tip. That's what he's predicting.
Okay. If Nathan got on the board, that'd be cool. What are we calling him the worst Hughes for? Come on.
I don't know. It's all that negativity. And to make matters worse, if you're the national media, because you're part of the national media, right? But you understand New Jersey. You understand New Jersey culture. The problem is you've got Canadians. They have Canadian culture. You've got Chicago. They got their own little culture going. Philly has their own culture going. They say home, fam. Nobody talks like that but Philly. And New Jersey is very sarcastic. And it always gets lost in translation about the fans. Even the booing of Luke Hughes, some of it got lost in translation because a lot of New Jersey is like very sarcastic, negative talk, but sometimes it means respect. So it's you have to know Jersey to understand Jersey. The Rutgers coach, Greg Schiano, would say that. You have to be from Jersey to understand Jersey. And I think that gets lost in translation. That's why it's great that Greg Wyshynski and Emily Kaplan are with ESPN because they know they can just go right through that and read it for what it is. So it is kind of good to have that. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. And I feel like even though I'm an adopted son, I understand it for the most part. There are some things I'm like, really? But, for the most part, I think I get it. The problem is I would like everyone to be a little more aware that, like, Luke isn't from New Jersey. Like, he doesn't, the Hughes brothers, like, let's keep in mind what we're doing. Be fake, I guess, is what I'm like. Don't boo your fragile players, young players. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel bad saying be fake, but like, I don't know. I hope it never makes anybody have any hard feelings down the road. That's all I was thinking behind it. But I mean, you said it. Like, I saw people from other states thinking it was weird. Like, every state, every city does have their own little thing, and other people don't understand it. Like, I saw Hawk fans getting crap for chanting Green Bay sucks at a hockey game. I'm like, that's just what they do. Every sports team might as well be the same team here. Like, everybody's just, you're just playing a different sport, but we're the same group. Like, it's probably not like that as much in a lot of other towns, because there's a lot of, especially the big towns, they have multiple teams.
Yeah.
But with New Jersey, like, just hopefully they find a way to start putting the puck in the net, because that obviously, in hockey terms, has been the biggest issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, even in other sports, in New Jersey, because we follow New York teams and even Philadelphia teams, if you live in South Jersey, like in the Eagles, the Giants and Jets, selecting a quarterback, you can have the quarterback that's great with the analytics and the best in the draft, but if you can't handle, like, you have to handle New York. I'm not sure if Phillip Rivers would have been able to handle New York like Eli Manning could have. If you're, getting drafted, and it takes a special breed to win in this town, so to speak. And the Devils are no different. Although it is a little bit easier because you don't have the New York media so focused on you. If you're a New Jersey Devil, and you can go slide under the radar, mostly, which makes it player friendly, and you have the big city next to you. But yeah, that's just my opinion. All right, Vinny. Well, we're gonna watch the game right now, so we're gonna head off. We're gonna have Devils After Dark after the game. Beer Baron is filling in for Scotty of Sirius XM Liquid Metal. Scotty stuck at work, unfortunately, because he's in high demand by Sirius. So, Beer Baron, I don't know if he can handle it. You maybe have to be our emergency backup broadcaster.
The E-Bub?
The E-Bub. Because there may be a lot of negativity tonight. I don't know.
We'll see. Jack Hughes is playing on the wing. That's never good.
Yeah. All right, I want to thank all those tuning in, dropping the podcast in 10, 20 minutes. Devils After Dark after the game, and also the Morning Woo back in action tomorrow for 97 straight days of morning action podcasting. Till next time, let's go Devils.